What's going on, everybody? August 29th is just around the corner, and that means Path of Exile 2 patch 0.30 is coming out. And in this video, I want to share with you the top 5 things that I would like to see features brought to Path of Exile 2 to make the game even better than it already is. I'm already getting some of the things I would want on my list, so we're going to share those as well. But here's the top 5 things that I hope makes it into this new version of the game to make it just that much better. Let's go. Kicking things off, I want to talk about the end game, the Atlas. If we introduce something called the Orb of Horizon from Path of Exile 1 or a similar item, I think this would allow us to enjoy the game even more. An Orb of Horizon would allow you to subsequently change the biome of a map such that you could actually start to target farm specific sorts of maps and maps bosses. A lot of individuals, myself included, oftentimes run a bunch of maps, but you don't really like the maps that you're running, but you have to do that to consequently get where you want to go. An Orb of Horizon or something similar allowing you to change the biome, terraforming one map at a time, might make it a little bit more interesting and a little bit more enjoyable as you're slogging through the Atlas, changing that feeling to become something that you actually enjoy doing. So an Orb of Horizon or something similar I think would make the game quite good, and this way you would enjoy your end game farm just a little bit more. Number 2 on my list is going to be items that affect itemization. Things like Orbs of Alteration, Orbs of Scouring. Simply put, if I had the ability to spend my top-end currency like Divine Orbs, Chaos Orbs, Exalted Orbs to purchase more Orbs of Alteration or Orbs of Scouring, that would be a pretty decent sink for that currency in a trade economy. Or subsequently in SSF, the ability to use Orbs of Alteration and Scouring to rinse and repeat and change the prefixes, suffixes, or ultimately adjust a rare down to a normal item and build it back up, that would be amazing for the item's journey. While I'd be able to enjoy the current items that I have, if I find other versions of an item, call it boots or a sword or something, I could craft those up to a certain degree as well, and then use the Recombinator to start to create even more powerful gear, subsequently increasing my player's power, but also making me enjoy the item's journey just all that much more. If that was included, I think it would make the suite of itemization a little bit more enjoyable as well. Number 3 is mobility, getting around town and looking good doing it. So something like in Path of Exile 1, we have a lot of dash mechanics. I refer to as dash mechanics, things like Frost Blink, Flame Dash, things like that. They're very, very good. They're very enjoyable. But more importantly, they allow me to navigate the content a little bit more. And when I'm zipping around town feeling good, I actually enjoy playing the game more on an alt or like maybe even on my first playthrough. Additional mobility is never really a bad thing as long as it's not heavily abused. And I would like to see additional mobility brought into Path of Exile 2 because I think we're all going to enjoy that even more. Up next is itemization. Again, I'm talking about plus to skills versus other options on gear. In Path of Exile 2, it's very easy to simply look for things that give you a grand total of like plus 7 skills, whether it's 2 on an offhand, 5 on a wand, or something like that. You're looking for plus to skills. And every time you go for that, your character is going to become much stronger with plus to skills. But by choosing plus to skills on gear, you're actually just eroding other opportunities like uniques that could be interesting for a build in those slots. So seeing some kind of itemization balance, I think it's a little bit early for that conversation, considering that we're talking about Path of Exile in early access anyway, but having an approach to deal with this problem, which is plus to skills versus uniques or good rares in those spots, I think that'd be interesting to talk about, and seeing that get refined would be quite beneficial for all of us, because if there really isn't a choice, it's always get plus to skills or else your gear is just bad in that slot. And having something interesting to discuss in that, I think is very important and something that should be looked into. Finally, we have the multiplayer experience. Now, this is something that I just can't solve. I've thought about it many ways. For grinding gear games, this one's out for you. I think the multiplayer experience is fun and enjoyable until we start talking about the visual noise and visual clutter. There's so much spell-heavy graphics going on in Path of Exile 2, and the game looks fantastic, looks very beautiful, but unfortunately that does prohibit me from actually walking forward sometimes, because I literally don't know if there's like an on-death effect happening. I don't know if there's any kind of ground burning, something like that going on in a multiplayer. Many times this will lead to you kind of losing your character to like a hardcore death or losing a bunch of XP because you died in softcore. So the visual clutter and visual density in the multiplayer experience, I think, could really be looked at. And simple things like, I don't know if this would work for anybody, but I'll throw out maybe something. 2 things here. First, I think that it might be interesting to look at using like a visual HUD for this. So because the visuals are so dense, adding an overlay for only multiplayer experience that you can toggle on or off would show you if there was some sort of enemy effect that you're walking into and subsequently about to be impacted by. This allows you to keep all the spell visuals in the game, but also allow the player to know if they want to engage with it. Hey, there are some detrimental effects from monsters on death or what have you that are going to affect you if you go towards this. So this has been successful in other games. It may be appropriate for Path of Exile 2, and it may allow us to have that beautiful game, but also solve the multiplayer experience. Or You could just extend the experience gain based off of the current range it is now. One of our community members was speaking about this, and I totally agree. If you allowed me to get more XP, people will just split off in the map. One person carries like top left, top right, bottom left, and we start to clear this all together. Maps are cleared faster, we're all getting XP, and we're all playing together in a map, which is ultimately what you want, but I think ideally you want to play together in the same area. As long as visual clutter's there, it's difficult to do. Now, things that we know that's coming up, we know that we're going to have a trade system within the game. I think that's fantastic. That would have absolutely been on my list. Not having to use third-party tools to navigate the content is very important. And being able to play the game in the game is really important. So not having to leave it, I think, is a good thing. I'm really looking forward to that. If you're more of an SSF player, this doesn't really impact you so much, but people using the trade economy, be it softcore or hardcore, this could be fantastic. Similar to the way that we use Faustus now to get currency, Elva will do that for us in Path of Exile 2, and I'm excited to see what that feels like. Additionally, there was the way that you actually ascend in Path of Exile 2. There is now going to be a third way, from what I understand. That'll be the Trial of the Ancestors. So we have Trial of Sekimas, Trial of Chaos, now Trial of Ancestors. I'm curious to see what that looks like. And I wonder if it has something to do with maybe the Betrayal League, you know? With all this conversation of Kulamek and things like that, it's quite possible that we have to actually beat some of the Syndicate members to get maybe a new Ascension. And subsequently, maybe Unveiled Gear. Veiled Gear is fantastic, adds a whole bunch of new layers of itemization. I'm stoked for it, I'm excited for it. What's your top 5? Feel free to drop a comment below, I read them all, and I hope this video kind of inspires you, gets you thinking, how could you make Path of Exile 2 better? What do you think about the list? Let me know. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for checking out the video. I'll see you with even more updates on the next one.